Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of Social Media News Live. So excited you are here. I know that we're in the middle of this holiday bustle, and everybody's going out, and it's like it's getting close. Like I can just feel the anticipation. It's even cold in Florida, is what I've heard. Like 50 degrees. They're freezing. I hope they'll start breaking furniture apart to like heat their homes in a little bit, because it's just frigid there. But for the rest of the country, we're doing okay, and we're excited to have you guys on the show today. I have been wanting to have Terry Brock on here. We have moved in the same circles, and we've seen each other on conferences for so long, so I'm excited to have Terry on the show, and Connor as well, because Connor is amazing, spouting the facial hair for No Shave December now, I guess. And we're going to have some fun. We've already got some of our friends popping in today. We've got Ask Ralph saying, hello, my friends. Hello, Ralph. How are you doing today? Good to see you. And Jim Fuse, the amazing Jim Fuse from Fusion Marketing, saying, good morning, Jeff, Connor, and Terry. Terry, you may have met Jim at some of the Podfest events. He's been
yes, indeed.
He has been around for a while. So this is going to be fun. This whole thing about AI and relationship marketing is, I think, a new subject that a lot of people haven't thought about. At least I haven't. So I'm going to hit go on the podcast machine, and we will get started. Hello, folks. Welcome to Social Media News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not.
And I'm Connor Brown, and this is the show that keeps you up to date on what's happening in the world of social media and more.
You ever wondered how to build stronger, more authentic connections with your audience? Maybe you're curious about how AI, of all things, can help you create meaningful relationships that last. Or maybe you're looking for practical ways to use AI to make sure your connections don't fall through the cracks and become forgotten. If any of this sounds like you are in the right place, because today we're excited to welcome someone who knows how to blend the power of AI with the art of relationship marketing. Terry Brock is an expert in relationship marketing and will be sharing his experiences, his strategies, and his best tips for using AI to connect with people in new ways that truly matter. So sit back, clear your schedule, clear your mind, and get ready for this week's episode of Social Media News Live. Terry, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing just right. It's wonderful to be with you today.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing show.
And if you don't know who Terry is, you should, because Terry is awesome. He is a professional speaker who works with clients, showing them how to use tech to get the results they want. He's a member of the Speaker Hall of Fame, has earned the Certified Speaking Professional designation, and has received the highest award available from the National Speakers Association, the CAVIT. His clients include solo proprietors to Fortune 10 companies. Awesome resume. Thanks again for being here, Terry. I'm so excited for our discussion today.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, so Terry is a professional speaker, so he is going to blow your socks off, because I've seen him present before. But somebody else that blows my socks off is our sponsors. Yes, right, folks, it's the amazing Ecamm. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com/Jeff. Use code Jeff15 to save 15% on your first purchase. Listen, streaming stuff is going up and up and up from those competitors that we won't even mention their names. But Ecamm, great community, really reasonable pricing. Check them out at ecamm.com/Jeff. Thank you to them for sponsoring the show today. But Terry, I want to just jump right into this, because there's so many questions I have about when you told me that you're really kind of diving into using AI in this relationship marketing. It just kind of like, really, I never had thought about it before. And I want you, first of all, to talk about what is relationship marketing, kind of a broad overview, and then talk about how AI can fit into that.
And well, marketing is something that we all tend to like, because it's caring about people. It's looking at more than just the bottom line versus just a quick transaction. Relationship marketing means you're building, well, a relationship. You're getting to know people, so you find mutually beneficial reasons to be together, so that you can help them, they help you, and you find out, hey, we're all trying to get better. Now, AI comes into the picture, and it's able to take some of the features that are important in building a relationship, like finding out about people, what they like, what they don't like, and being able to get information to them even faster. We can put that together, and I think that it's really not either or, it's both and. If you say, well, we're not going to use any technology, we're just going to be with people and shake hands and see them in person, okay, but you're limiting yourself. But if you say, I'm going to only use the technology, some of our dear friends we've seen on YouTube that say, well, all you got to do is just copy and paste and put it in there, and that's it. I go, no, 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 that's not the way to do it. I like to say, you copy, then paste, then customize. Customize it to that person, finding out what they like, what's there for them. And then you want to, as I like to say, you-ize it. In other words, you're going to put your feeling, your voice. What you'll do is you'll take it, I would say Jeff-ize it or Connor-ize it. I like to Terry-ize it. So, give me a little something in there and have some fun with it. But what you want to do is make it your own and let the AI be a servant to you. Much like, Jeff, if you wanted to come here to Orlando, I know you like driving.
Yeah.
So you would drive, you would use technology called a car, and it would get you here. Now, could you walk to Orlando? Well, I guess if you really wanted to and you allowed enough time and it was worth it financially. Somebody says, I'll give you a large number. Okay, maybe. But the technology is there to assist us and to help us with cars, much like all other kinds of technology. So we use the technology to build better relationships with people.
Very cool.
Yeah, Terry, you also have talked before about relationship intelligence, so how does that kind of concept, relationship intelligence, differ from just traditional relationship marketing like we just talked about in the previous question? And why do you think that relationship intelligence is this game changer?
I think relationship intelligence is a term I've heard from others as well that means you get to know something about them. It's the old idea of Tony Alessandro talks about this. We all know about the golden rule. He talks about the platinum rule. The platinum rule goes beyond that, which says, like, for instance, if I really like, let's say there's something I really enjoy on a certain kind of food. And I know that Jeff might like that as well. I just met Jeff. And so I'm going to send him that kind of food that I like. I'm doing unto others as I would have them do unto me. That's what I like. But I think we need to go beyond that. And we need to do unto others as they would have you do unto them. So I would want to find out, what kind of food does Jeff like? Like, for instance, for me, if someone were to send me some of the best steaks, they said, okay, we found the juiciest, the best steak. We're going to send you a bunch of that, Terry. I would say, thank you, that's nice, but we didn't have a lot of, I wouldn't say they didn't have intelligence, but I would say that's not really in line with relationship intelligence because, hey, I'm vegan. So I would thank you for it, but that's just not the thing for me. What
Right.
you want to do is find out what that other person wants. What do they like? Get to know them, their personality, the things that they want. Then let AI come up with ways to do it. Now, in a commercial sense, one of the things you want to do is, like, for instance, as a professional speaker, I was recently speaking to a group of delis and bakeries and the big convention of the people that are all of those in the country. And so what I did is I did some research using Perplexity and ChatGPT to find out, what are customers of bakeries and delis looking for, and what types of food are they going to want for the next 6 months? And show me the data to back that up. Because you see, for instance, let's say you owned a deli. You want to order the right kind of food that your customers want. And if you get too much of it, then it's going to go to waste. You've wasted money. If you don't get enough of it, then they're going to go to your competitors. So you want to know what it is. So what I did that research. I tried to build the relationship intelligence based on what are delis looking for, what are the bakeries looking for right now, and asking a lot of different questions, the prompts, a lot of different prompts that I put in there. And then I came up with a wonderful piece here that showed me, here's what's going on, and here's the kind of foods that people are trending and already preferring, that they want more of this. And they're saying this. And so I put that together in a Google Doc, cleaned it up real nicely, and made it available to all those in the audience for free. To say, hey, here it is. It's benefiting them. They like it. And also for me, hey, they remember, hey, this guy, Terry Brock, he helped us on that. Perhaps they'll want me to come and do something in the future. Everyone wins because it's a good relationship. So I think the relationship intelligence means that you don't just say, I want this, therefore I'm going to get that for you. You step back and go, okay, wait a minute. I need to know a little bit more about this person. What does she really like? And I'm going to do some research. There's a lot of things that are out there publicly. Of course, LinkedIn. And of course, you can go to something like Perplexity and look at what people are looking for in a focus on social media, where people are going to tell a little bit more about what they really think. You can find that out. It does a lot of work with Reddit as well as with X, formerly Twitter, and Facebook and other places, we can find out a little bit more of what someone likes. So that if I know someone might particularly like this, hey, we might have that in common. If I know, hey, somebody here I know went to Kansas State University, and we call it K-State, and they went to K-State, did these kind of things there. Oh, okay, that's good. And was that the campus in Manhattan? Yeah, it was. Okay, so I can find out a little bit more about that and say, oh, and then I find out, oh, he's really into something else and these things. As you find those out, bring that in so that the person will say, oh, okay, you've done a little bit of homework and did some work on that and wanted to do it. Matter of fact, Jeff, I noticed one of the things you're looking for is you want to build a PC. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I'm actually got all the components, and I'm going to be doing that over Christmas. Yeah.
Excellent. I put together a page on what you want to look for, and I'm going to say, if that's all right with you, I send that over to you. What did I do? I went out to my friend, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and found out what to look for, what to avoid, what kind of prices, all that kind of thing. Put it together in a nice Perplexity document and a page, and we'll be able to send that over to you a little bit later. But I did that just as an example. Find out what people are looking for, what they are interested in. Again, as Tony Alessandra says it, it's the platinum rule. Do unto others as they would have you do unto them. Not just what you think is a real dandy idea, but get some relationship intelligence going on.
That's awesome.
Jeff, this is something I teach all of the new travel advisors that I train as well. We do it during the discovery call, right? You ask these leading questions to understand what they're interested in. But as you learn more about the traveling party, about their family, I always encourage them to take notes too, because it's for the next vacation you book. If someone says, my kid really loves Marvel superheroes, and then they go on a trip, they have a great time, but now Disney's building a new attraction with Marvel superheroes, I'll send an email and say, hey, I remember you love this. The little one loved this. They're opening a new attraction if you want to come for it. And people like to be remembered, and they like that you remembered actual things about them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, something that they wanted. Exactly. Yeah. Brilliant.
So, by the way, if anybody does want to send me food in the mail, that is perfectly fine. As long as it's, if you do some research, I like sushi. Lou and I talk about this all the time. Lou Mangello, don't send that in the mail. That's a bad idea, because I'd probably eat it.
Yeah, sushi in the mail wouldn't be good, but I also like sushi. That's good to know. Yeah. And I would say over in Japan, sushi ga daisuki desu. I like sushi. Oh, wow. So you remember that little phrase when you're around Japanese, they'll go, oh, okay, that's good.
So one of the things, and when you were talking about this, Terry, I was thinking about the platinum rule, and one of somebody had told me one time, everybody gives out like mugs or something with their logo on it, and they give it to you like at trade shows or whatever. But the stuff that stands out is that when it has your logo on it, instead of like sending people something with all your logos on it, give them their logo on a mug, and they'll remember it because they'll keep it and they'll use it. And back, Connor, what you kind of spurred me on too is like one of the things I do a lot of woodworking. That's kind of a hobby and stuff. So I'll make fountain pens or pins for people. And I still remember, because I gave Chris Brogan a dragon pin, and if you ask him today, he will still remember that. And because he'll tag me on it every once in a while on like Twitter or something. But those kind of things make a huge difference. So I think that's genius about using AI in that way to do that research and really dig into what somebody is doing.
Let it do the research and remember what it is that they really like. You want to remember, okay, they kind of like this. And my friend Harvey McKay says it really well. He said, people will say little things mean a lot. It's not true. Little things mean everything. Those little things that they like this or they don't like that. Oh, that's important to know as well.
Right. And the cool thing is you're not doing it in a skeevy, sleazy way where you're trying to like, hey, I did this for you, now you have to do something for me. It's just like, hey, I found this, I made this, I thought you would enjoy it. No strings attached. Here you go. And just because you're a cool guy, kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
Like Ask Ralph says, do you want me to send you some Delaware Black Angus beef that he raised here on the farm? Ralph, I could not say no to anything that you make, or you didn't make it, but anyway. And Kevin goes, a great gift idea. So Kevin is an incredible Imagineer, and he does all this stuff. He does these really cool boxes that he sent out. We had him on a show a couple weeks ago, and it was a fascinating deep dive into all things Imagineering. In fact, Connor, that was one of your favorite ones you were saying to me earlier. So
that was awesome. Yeah, and Jeff, I'm still waiting on that fountain pen. So whenever the mail gets,
it's in the mail. It's in the mail.
Okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about we kind of talked about relationship intelligence, but balancing this automation, because AI, you talked about being a great research tool, all that sort of thing. But how can creators use AI interactions but still remain genuine and personal? Because it's really easy to just, we want to hit that easy button and just copy and paste. And I guess if you don't do your due diligence, you could send something that would really not resonate with somebody or come off wrong. So how do you balance that, Terry, between, being genuine, but also using these tools? Because I can see people misusing it in a way that would not be beneficial.
Yeah, Jeff, you hit on something that is really important there, because too often we tend to think, oh, I'll just get the right technology and I don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just step back. I think that what we have to do is make sure that we're guided by the human desire to connect with people, and it's got to be in a genuine way. If someone's putting it on and they're just putting on a front, we're going to see right through that. Anyone can. And what you want to do is say, look, I want to help. And realize that when you help, sometimes you don't get a direct benefit right away. Matter of fact, most of the time you don't. But what you want to do is realize, I'm going to help these people. It's the right thing to do. It's a good thing to do. I want to help them more. My buddy Jay Baer talks about this, the idea of helping others. Helping is the new selling. Instead of going out and saying, hi, I'm wonderful, buy my stuff, find out how you can help them. And maybe one of the things you have in your product line or one of the services you have would be of help to them. And if not to them, maybe someone they know, someone else would be there. By giving out, maybe there's something to that karma thing. I don't know, but I think there's a lot of credibility to giving and helping people from a sincere way. So what you would want to do is use the AI, use the technology to help you understand, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday, or, oh, a big event happened on the date that's coming up next Tuesday for this important person. So when next Tuesday rolls around, you send them something, send them a card, send them a Loom video. I love Loom videos because it's direct and real, it's the real person. And just say, hey, happy anniversary. I did a little bit of research and I know that it was 3 years ago today that on this date, such and such happened that was really good for you. Congratulations again. Thinking about you and hope you have a wonderful day. Something like that. 30 seconds, 60 seconds can really matter a lot. Combining the technology with the human care and let it being controlled by the human care. I think it's not either or, it's both and.
So let me real quick use an example that I think we're all familiar with. Everybody gets daily, if they're on Facebook at all, hey, it's this person's birthday. So how can we take, instead of just going to their thing and like happy birthday, because everybody gets that and they just kind of scroll through it, how can we take that, Terry, to the next level and stand out from all those people who are just writing, sending an emoji or whatever? How can we take it to the next level for those birthday meetings on Facebook, greetings on Facebook?
You want to make sure that you do something that will make them go, wow. Make about them like think that's nice. Getting a happy birthday, that's nice. It's good. And just happy birthday. Sometimes you wonder, wait a minute, are they just giving me a type, like a text editor or something like that? Yeah. Text expander where I press a key and it pops out happy birthday. And sometimes people will do that. Here's something you want to do. Make it as real as you can. If you know that person, and this person is someone who really matters to you, then you would say, happy birthday, Ralph. Hope you're doing well today. Still thinking about the great time we had last March. Something like that. Now, Ralph knows that you really were with us. This is really you. And you're thinking about some mutual event that was really good. And here's another thing that can really help. It makes it easier too. It's a little sneak for everyone watching, listening to this. Use voice. You can talk faster than you can type. So if you use voice to type it in there, that's good. But even better, one thing that people cannot do is disregard an audio message on LinkedIn or Facebook. We got to listen to it. We got to hear it, or a quick video, real quick. Don't give them a 3-hour video. No, what you want is just something that's like 30 seconds, 60 seconds tops. And what you might do is with tools like Loom, it's easy for you to do to just say, hey, here's the picture. Remember when we were there in Baltimore on that occasion, something like that. Or here's a picture of something, or hey, here's something I just read on the web. This article I thought you would like. Here it is, and you're showing that. They're talking about exactly what you and I were mentioning 2 months ago. Something like that is using the technology to make it easier for you, make it more meaningful for them, and it's showing that, hey, you really do care about them, and you really do care to help them. And as you get into that system of helping others more, I just think that it comes back and it would make our world a whole lot better if we had more people really caring and looking out for the other person.
A perfect example of this is this week, Katie Brinkley, who's been on the show before, is a friend of the show, and you probably know Katie from podcast.
Oh yeah.
She recommends,
Denver.
we'll kind of recommend guests back and forth to each other sometimes, like, hey, they were really good on my show, you should have them. So she actually recommends somebody who I've been wanting to have on the show for a long time, Justin Moore, who does Creator Wizard. And she connected us, and we had kind of known each other before from conferences, but I sent him an email. He sent me back what you were exactly talking about, a Loom video, why he would be great for the show, and his book is coming out, is launching. Of course I watched it. Of course I would have him on the show, but it was just, it's the next level. Most guests will never do that, or people pitching me to be on the show never do that. And I mean, I was so impressed with it, and I'm like, of course I want him on the show. So he's going to be at the end of January. But stuff like that, you would not, you just don't know how much of an impact it makes for people when they get that video or the audio thing, Terry. So that's a great example. Thanks.
Yeah, that's important. And to make sure when you do it, not just, hey, I'm wonderful. Hey, I've done this. I'm over here. I'm great. People like that often, I say they have eye trouble. I don't mean EYE. I mean the letter I.
Right.
You know, I did this and I did that and I'm doing this and I'm doing. Well, would you hush, please? You know, we don't want to hear anymore about.
Right.
Target them,
Right.
and how they can use it, and think in terms of how you can help that other person. This is what our mothers told us growing up: being careful and take care of the other people. Listen to them. We need to, as our mutual friend Chris Brogan says, we need to grow bigger ears.
Right.
Grow bigger ears and listen more to what other people are saying, and then use the technology to make that easier, like with a Loom video that's very meaningful to them. You send it to them, or audio is also good. Sometimes audio could be even better. You just a quick audio message. Hey, hope you're having a great day. I know your birthday is tomorrow. I'm going to be busy tomorrow, but I'm thinking about you. Still remember that. Hope to get a chance to see you next July, like we had talked about, and have a great day. Something like that, real quick, matters a lot.
Very good.
Yeah, I love how we've dived into communication ways here, because I think communication preferences is a big thing that we can use AI for. Loom, we brought up, I do the same thing with my travel clients. I'll put an itinerary together for them, and it'll be a PDF or something like that, but also just do a quick video and say, hey, I just wanted to go over this real quick for you. Watch this whenever you can. And people love it. They eat it up. But Terry, along those lines, how can us as creators now use AI to help with those communication preferences? There's a million ways to communicate with someone, not just via different mediums, but also in tone and style. I use ChatGPT all the time to be like, make this sound more fun, or less rigid or something like that. But how can AI, when it comes to communication preferences, help us communicate more effectively?
There's several tools that are available for that. One of the most popular is called Crystal Knows, Knows. Crystal Knows. It's a tool that goes out and it uses the DISC system, the DISC where you find out certain personality styles based on what is available publicly and what's available in LinkedIn and sources like that. It will find out what this person likes. This is not my area of expertise, but I know that people do really well in that when they can understand this person behaves this way. They like to get to the point. They don't want to beat around the bush. They want it there. That's a certain kind of personality. Others say they don't want to get to the point. They want to get to know you first. They want to kind of know a little bit more about you. Find out the personality style. And what happens is this particular program, I'm not selling it. I don't even have the program, but I know this kind of tool can really help. That one in particular is rather expensive, $600 for a year, and you get 200 views. So that's okay, but I think there's some tools like that we can use, including ChatGPT and Perplexity, to look for things that are public. And of course, going over to LinkedIn. Find out what the person is like, what they have done, where they went to school, or the groups they're around, the kind of way they might lean. On a political situation, be very careful, because if you find someone is real strong in this party and you're in another party, we know that could create some tension in our world today. Find those areas of commonality. This is no big secret. We've been able to do that for thousands of years, but find out where you have commonality and use AI to do some of the research of what they like, what kind of books they read, what kind of things they like. Get to know that person. And again, ask more questions rather than talking about yourself or your product, no matter how nifty and groovy you might think it is. What really matters is what they think is nifty and groovy.
Very cool.
I love that. I think a big thing now in today's day and age, when it comes to this relationship marketing, is using CRMs, customer relationship management tools, for these sort of things. It's not just about is the contract out with them, right? Do we have any deliverables to them? But it's about managing the actual relationships that you have. So Terry, how can AI kind of track and monitor and then also assist us with the health of these business relationships, and why are, forging those relationships and maintaining them so important in today's day and age?
I think we're seeing a lot of the tools, the CRMs, those contact relationship management tools out there are bringing that in. Matter of fact, if they don't, they're going to be in trouble. So it can say, this is what we're looking for here. Salesforce being one of the biggest, they're using their tool called Einstein, and it gives the ability to track the kind of personalities, what this person likes, what they don't like. I'm using a tool called Nimble. That's a very nice tool, very inexpensive. I've been using it for years and it works well, but it gives us the ability to tie into some of that. They've got some AI tools now, I hear, that are in there, and I'm looking forward to getting into it and finding out. I think what you want to do is find out more about that person than you know right now. Harvey McKay was talking about, I mentioned him before. He wrote a book, Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive. And he's written several other really good books. But he talks about his McKay 66 that he's been using for years. Today, we're doing it a little differently, but back years ago, he would use a pad of paper or some way to keep track of notes as you get to know someone. 66 questions, so that he knows, yes, their name, yes, their phone number, today, their email, et cetera, but also, what do they like? What don't they like? Where did they go to school? Are they real big fans of the school? Or maybe not. Maybe they went there and then they don't care about that school anymore. Or maybe they wish they would have gone somewhere else. Or they're big fans of this person. If you find out any hint about how they feel on certain subjects, he would have that documented. And this helped him and his sales team, because in his sales team, then they might have someone who is working with them, taking notes, and has that on a particular prospect or a customer. Then that person, the salesperson, leaves and goes somewhere else, but the notes they made stay with the company. So the new person coming on board can say, oh, yeah, you're working with Jane Smith, and Jane, here's the list of all the things that she likes. So that new salesperson can read, get to know a little bit about Jane and what she likes, what she doesn't like, and then notice some similarities there and go, oh, you went to this school, I went there. Or maybe they're rivals. And that's even, can be real good too. Right. Like, hey, I see you're at that school. I went to this one, and the big game is coming up next Saturday. Da, 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 da. Have some fun with that. So you want to make sure you're keeping track of it. Today, instead of using pen and paper for the most part, we'll use AI, which gives us the ability then to do even more with tools like for instance, Cast Magic, that I use a lot for creating content for our videos, for our audio. It takes and shows the correlation and the connections, so that by using something, I don't know if Einstein will do this, but you can find out all the people that went to this school. You're going to that area, they went there, or all people that are in that area, to find it and offer them an opportunity to get together for a luncheon or something like that. So we're using creative ways to take our ideas and connect with others, finding their needs and helping them out wherever we can.
That's awesome. There's so many good ideas you're giving us, Terry. This is amazing. I do want to bring up a comment. I have not played with this tool, but Images by Gretchen says AI Librarian is one that it looks like she's used, so I'll have to check that out.
Oh, thank you, Gretchen. I hadn't heard of that.
So I love all these new tools because they seem like they're popping up every day.
Oh, literally, they are. And it's good. And by the way, let me say something. It can feel overwhelming after a while. It's like, oh no, all these tools, I can't keep them. Well, right. Don't worry about that. Define what it is you want to do and then use filters. Make sure that you're filtering. And a good way to do that is to filter, know clearly what you want to do, but also get involved in the right groups and communities. One of the things that we do, and I know many other groups do the same thing, where you have people that are saying, I'm using this tool. It has worked well for me to do A, B, and C. Another person can come and say, yeah, I use it. I like it as well. Okay, that's sounding good to me now. Or we've seen this in our Stark Raving Entrepreneurs. Sometimes we'll say, what about this tool? People go, oh, no, I didn't like it. Really? I had a bad experience too. Yeah, and I did too. There's one that's very popular we had heard about, and so we thought, okay, this is good to know. So I think we have to get really better filters. I think it was Clay Shirky that says, the problem is not information overload. The problem is filter failure.
That's great.
So what we want to do is make sure we got real strong filters to say, okay, is this right? Is this good for me? I like to use a grading system. Is this an A+ activity? According to me, according to my criteria, A+ or A. The real challenge though is a B+. That's good. That's 89%, not bad. Something that's a C minus or a D is easy. Hey, that's not for me. I'll get rid of it. But a B plus, that's called watching too many videos on the internet
That's right.
or YouTube.
Right.
Not that I have ever done that. No, never have done that myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it can
But
be,
make sure you have good filters.
yeah, it can be overwhelming. I love that idea about filters. A couple, you mentioned, getting into some groups, and since we're talking about AI, I cannot not mention Magi, which is one of my favorite programs. I point people to all the time. Magi.co/Jeff. You can go in there and look, and Dustin has put together a special deal. But the cool thing about Magi is you can try out all these different programs all in one. It has all these different AIs. You can try Claude, ChatGPT, the same with image-based stuff. So it's just really cool. It's a great place to start. And he's got a great community as well as our friends over at Ecamm. Of course, they have their community is second to none. Seth Godin will pop in there every once in a while. Michael Hyatt will come in there and ask questions. So it's really fun to see people in there because it's such a welcoming community. But that's key as well. So thanks for that, Terry. I want to talk about kind of some practical applications for creators and like personalization at scale, because it seems like as the bigger you grow, and you see this with companies or even big time influencers, the bigger they grow, the less they feel or actually do get involved with their community or, do this networking, reaching out to people. So how can creators use these tools that AI gives us to deliver personalized content to large audiences, but still have that human touch that everybody wants?
Yeah, that's the human touch, not just to give a bunch of information. The way to do that is customize it and get people to opt in. Permission-based marketing that Seth Godin, who you mentioned, talks about. Very, very important that people are saying, yeah, I want to know more about that. Frankly, I like it that Amazon keeps track of what I'm doing. It's a good example that I bought this, this, and this, and other people who bought that tended to like this. Some of those things, most of them, I go, okay, that's not for me. Oh, but wait a minute, this goodie right here, hey, and you can have it here tomorrow. Click,
Yeah.
and it's useful to me. Not just that I got it, but hey, my life is better because I bought this thing that was right for me. I don't want the things that I don't need. Like, for instance, somebody's showing me something that is not of my interest. They say this is good for that. Well, that's not for me. Again, my example of somebody says, here's wonderful steaks. Good for you if you want them, but that's not for me. I'll use something else. You want to get me? Hey, show me a great veggie. Yeah, some fruits, some veggies, some legumes. Hey, I'm going. Yeah, ready for it. But what you want to do is find out from them and then use the tools to keep track. Here's a thing you can do. When you meet someone, make notes right away of little things about them. I learned this a while ago when I had a chance to work with some people, and they were talking about meeting people, talking to them, able to do the kinds of things that you want to do. You need to remember that, so you keep good track of it. Forgetting politics here for a moment, George Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton were two people very well known for how they built their network. Both of them, of course, becoming president ultimately. But what they were famous for is as they would meet someone, they would quickly make some notes on it. And often it would be not right there when they see the person, but they go, oh, thank you very much. And then they go over to a corner somewhere and they just make a note. I just met Jim Jones and he lives here. He has 3 kids. His kids are this, and they're in soccer. And then they would remember that. George Bush and Bill Clinton would remember those little tidbits about people and then see them later, even a year, 2, 5 years later, and they go, oh, Jim, how are you? By the way, how's Billy? And is she still in soccer? Doing well? You can imagine people blown away with that. And so again, politics aside, this is about getting to know people. Unfortunately, today, you know that we don't have to use the cards and write it down. And if we do, that's okay. But you can then talk it into your computer, talk it into your phone, because again, we can talk faster than we can type. So you want to make sure you get a good database of people, and particularly the things they like and don't like, the things that they have a feeling for, something that they feel strongly about. You want to remember that. If they're a big fan of such and such, okay, that's good. I grew up in Michigan and did not go to school in Michigan, but I know the University of Michigan, big rivalry with Ohio State. So you want to remember that if you see somebody from Ohio State, have some fun and say, oh yeah, I remember Ohio State. I go through Ann Arbor, where the University of Michigan is, Ann Arbor, and you see, oh, how I hate Ohio State. And so even the people from Ohio think, okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. You have some fun with that. Find little things that you can joke about, you can have a bond with, and that can really help them. That's the key.
Great stuff, Terry.
Yeah, I love that. I want to comment real quick on Gretchen's comment. She said, AI librarian, not an actual AI tool, just what she thought of when she thought of research librarian. Maybe I should trademark that name. There is a tool kind of like this, though. I guess it's just an aggregate. There's an AI for that.com
Yes.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
seen
It's
it.
unbelievable. It talks about all the new tools that are there. But like we were talking about, filters. You can use filters and kind of search for the tools that you want to stay up to date with all that. So when we kind of talk about Terry, like customer engagement, and in particular for creators and their communities, right? How can AI help boost that engagement? Because I know, we don't want it to come off inauthentic, right? Or be so
Right.
broad when it comes to engagement. Like this post, we want to be specific, something that will actually drive personable engagement. So how can AI help with that? And are there any tools that creators can take advantage of so that AI can help boost that kind of creative engagement in
Yeah,
marketing?
thankfully today there's more and more all the time. I'm working with a couple of them right now that go out and they find out what people are looking for. What kind of questions do they have? And using a tool like Perplexity, I like, particularly when you can put a focus on social media, because then it goes to Reddit and places like that. You find out what people are really saying, what they're really hurting about or angry about or really delighted for. And then you can design content accordingly. And then use tools that go out there and find what people are doing. Like, for instance, Opus Clip is a very popular one that does that. When it goes out, it takes your interview that you had with someone, for example, or a piece that you had, and it says, okay, here out of the 30-minute interview, you said something right here that many, many people are asking for in your target market. So they'll let you get a clip of that. I'll use that kind of thing with Cast Magic, where I can very easily look at the transcript and then just click highlight from here to there, that chunk of speech, and it lets me create a video of it so that I can then help people by saying, yes, if you're interested in this issue and this issue, we found a way to do that. Here's the first point. Number one, da, 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 da. And the audience is looking at that going, that's exactly what we were looking for. And so they hear the first point of 5, and there's a note below to hear the entire interview, click here. And so you're helping them that way using those kind of tools to be able to see it. Taja is another tool I just saw that does a similar kind of thing that will then grab the information based on what AI is saying, and then it lets you quickly create videos that you can send out to the popular platforms, linked to your YouTube, your LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it might be. Lets you do those kind of things as well. So I think there's a lot out there. And thank you for mentioning that there's an AI for that. Literally, that's the website. There's an AI for that. One of the best websites to keep in mind, because then they say, here's a tool, it does all of this. This looks like its strength, this is a weakness, this is what people are saying. We use that a lot. Gina and I, when we're getting ready to watch a movie on Saturday night, we'll go to several of the movie recommending sites that they had. So we can say, yeah, we're in the mood for this kind of movie. Or here are 5 movies we've seen in the past that we really liked. Find something similar to that. And so it runs around and says, oh, if you like these 5, then here's one that you're going to really like. This one and that one and that one. We watch the trailers and go, that's a good one to see. Okay, we do it. So what they're doing there, they're finding out what we like. Do your research. Use the tools that are out there to find out what's going on. Perplexity's focus on the social media is one of the keys that I find we can find out what people really are thinking about this. What do they like? What don't they like? And what are the main arguments? I'll also use ChatGPT with the reasoning capability. So I can talk to it and I can say, well, for instance, a little while ago, there was a controversial topic. And I say, okay, here's the topic. I believe this way. Tell me what the other side believes. And then it came back saying this and this. And I would then carry on the conversation. Yeah, but what about, and da, 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 da. It says, oh, well, that's a good point, Terry. And you want to do this and this. I go, yes, that's true. But then what about this and this and this fact? How do they deal with that? Oh, they say this and they are citing these facts. I'm having a polite conversation with ChatGPT, no screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
I'm finding out what the other side says about that. And I go, okay, this is good to know. Because frankly, I've changed my mind several times throughout my life. You guys should have talked to me when I was 18. I knew everything. At least I thought I did.
Right.
Now I want to go back and slap myself silly. Get that time machine fixed. I'm going to go back and slap myself silly, going, "Hey, shut up, Terry. Listen to this." And by the way, that woman over there, go see her. Don't see this other one over here doing this. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah. So Terry, time machine. We've gone into time travel, which is great.
Yeah, we're working on that. Our best people are working on that right now.
So speaking of, going back and fixing things, Gemini 2 just came out. There's a lot of these new tools that are kind of using sentiment analysis. So now AI can supposedly gauge sentiments from like social media and emails. First of all, do you, because now you can even click in Gmail, you can click on, summarize this or make this friendly. You can do that in Apple Intelligence rolled out this week, some more features there.
Yep.
So do you recommend using those kind of tools? And also it's kind of a gray area. Like, should we use this data without crossing these privacy boundaries? Should we, because you want to get the best information, but also you don't want to, use it in the wrong way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So what are your thoughts on the sentiment analysis for?
I'm going to put an exclamation mark behind what you just said. It's very important. You don't want to go over the line, because if you come in and go, "Oh, and how is Marge doing? And how this? And by the way, I noticed you were talking about this." And it's like, that gets even beyond creepy. So we want to say, wait a minute, the reason we're doing all of this is to help people. So make sure that you don't infringe on something that is private, for sure. Look at what information is available publicly or what you have heard from them that you can blend in there, and be careful. Understand the potential problems. There are a lot of people that are scared of AI right now. And I understand that. Hey, throughout history, people have been scared of technology when it first comes out. We don't know it. Is it going to hurt us? Can it hurt? Yes, it can. My buddy Og came up with a great idea and a little invention he had called fire back in the cave. And Og came up with this thing. And is fire good? Well, it'll keep you warm. Yeah, that's good. It'll cook your food. That's good. But it can destroy. Yes, it can be bad. Well, yeah, but we don't throw away fire. We understand the technology and then use it, much like airplanes. We know that the safest form of transportation is airline. Statistically proven fact, airline, because they've done so much. Have people died on airplanes? Well, yeah, sadly they have. But that doesn't mean we throw it away. I think the same principle applies with AI. Is there a danger with AI? Potentially, yes, beyond the movies and stuff that we've seen before. But is there a lot of good? Absolutely. Medical research is being able to come up with massive amounts of information. There's over 7,000 peer-reviewed medical articles, I should say, every day of the year. No one can keep up with that. The best doctors can't do that, but AI can synthesize it. So then it says, "Oh, Jeff is here for his annual visit. Let's look at the unique factors for Jeff, not just he's a male and he does this. Okay, we're going to do that. No. We want to know this and his height, his weight, his previous medical conditions, et cetera, et cetera." And a qualified medical professional can use the AI to make even better decisions. So what we need to do is understand it, understand the dangers of AI, what it can do, get really, really smart people that can look at this, and then proceed cautiously, and also keep your filters up. Know what is right for you. I am not a medical doctor. I can't get into all that. I have friends who are, and they tell me some of the new developments, and I go, okay, that's good to know. I need to know a little bit about it, but I'm going to trust the medical professionals who can help us and guide us through all of this in the right way. So I think AI is good, but make sure that you handle it in the right way with the right frame of mind.
Yeah, I think it's a great tool to use. In fact, so I don't know if you use Grammarly, but I've been using it for a while now, and it's got great AI stuff. But a lot of times I'm like, no, I wouldn't say it that way. Like, I'll just ignore it. I'm glad it's there, and I'm glad that it fixes, like, when I type something completely wrong. But sometimes the way I say things in emails, that's the way I want to say them, even though it may not be go through their AI or whatever. So I think using it as a tool is a great way to think about it. So.
Absolutely. Good copywriters who are really, really good, far better than me, say, hey, you sometimes want to use it differently than your high school teacher said. I will purposely use incorrect grammar to drive a point home sometimes. Yeah. You got to know where you're. Now, if you're preparing a doctoral dissertation, different ball game. Okay. You got to make sure that's done. And that's where Grammarly or peer-reviewed things will come in very important. Using Perplexity and other tools, I think, would be real good there.
Yeah. Grammarly could never come up with the folksy diction that Jeff C's emails are known for.
Folksy diction? What is that? I don't even know what that is.
I'm going to put that over in the good column because that's what we like. We
Yeah.
want that. We want that in the proper context.
Mm.
And in the context, it's something I feel, hey, I like this person. I like what he says. This is good. I like her. And she's got a book coming out. Oh, I might want to look into that. Yeah. She's got a conference coming up. Okay. I know I need to learn this stuff. I like her material. I've been reading her emails. I've been watching her YouTube videos. I think I will sign up for her course. Everybody wins that way.
So Terry, along those lines, at the beginning, we kind of talked about we don't just want to copy and paste the results we're getting from AI. We want to put something to it so that we can personalize it a little bit more. And
Yeah.
what we were just talking about there about it's important to still establish our own tone. We don't want those, what Jeff, we always talk about it from the mountaintops, those phrases that ChatGPT puts in everywhere. You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want it to know that it's from AI. You want it to help us and have some
Right.
personalization behind it. So what are some AI tools to help with personalization and help with just personalized interactions overall?
I think it's on how you're going to do it. Well, one of the things I do, I'm not saying anyone has to do this, when I write a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday post that I send out to people, and I start by going to a Google Doc that I have with ideas, just ideas that I thought were good. Here's a quote, here's a link to something, here's a phrase that I put in when I had a crazy idea about something. I take that and I do a brain dump into it for I call it my doggy draft, my rough draft, even before the rough. It's a rough. And it's me throwing all that in there. Then I go back and for a second version, I edit that a little bit myself. So it's still me. This is me. Then I run that through Perplexity with a writing focus, the writing to check for spelling, check for grammar, check for often, I don't know if anyone else runs into this. Sometimes I'll say open quotes and then close quotes, and it will put in OPENQUOTES, literally the words open and quotes. I don't want that. So I say, I've just put it into Perplexity. If you see what should have been open quotes and the words open and quotes used, change that to this. And it does it. So I'm letting AI do for me, usually takes maybe 15 seconds to do what would take me 5 to 10 minutes to do. So that's how AI can really help us. Plus, I also ask it to give me some suggestions on how to make it funnier or how to, where appropriate, do this. And it gives me the upgraded version of it, cleaned up and looking nice with 5 to 10 suggestions on here's something. I find there's at least one of those that I think, okay, that's a good thing. I'll use that one. All of them, no, I wouldn't take all of them, but that's okay. Give me 10. And if I can get one that's a gem, that works well. So then I'll take that and run it through. When I do it, I'm usually going through about 4 to 5 different edits. And it takes 1 hour to do that. Usually 1 hour to get the whole thing done for me. Now, your results may vary. What you've got to do is find the system that works for you. For me in writing, I find Perplexity with a writing focus tends to be the very best. And I've got good results. However, I'm also seeing on ChatGPT, they're always fighting, leapfrogging each other. ChatGPT has got some really good tools there, particularly with the reasoning. The reasoning now, and now they're no longer in the preview as of this last week. They are now showing the real thing that is really good for getting ideas, coming up with thoughts. Here's what I'm thinking. What about this? Yeah, but what about? And if you're like me and have a lot of yeah, but what about kind of questions, you're going to love that version of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Jeff, I have a follow-up question on this because Terry, you've talked a lot about Perplexity, and I love Perplexity. I think it's one of the kind of unsung heroes in the AI space right now. So many people just defer to ChatGPT, but I really, truly have been using Perplexity almost only as a search engine, right? I wanted to ask it a question and it can acquire sources and kind of put an amalgamation together so that I can understand something. Where ChatGPT, I'm still solely pretty much using it to idea creation, but also task help. The thing that you just said about Perplexity, about saying a writing focus, can you talk a little bit more about that process? Because for me, I've never given Perplexity, hey, can you do this in this order? I've just asked it questions. So is it just including that in the prompt?
Yeah, in the prompt, what you do, and also it's also, when you look at it, there's a little thing for focus that you'll see on there. Click on focus and it'll show you several different areas of focus. One could be all, so it look all through all the web. That's what you're getting by default. They also have a math focus. So if you're writing some
Mm.
technical journals or you want something that's going to use a lot of algebra, calculus, and those kind of things, we use that. There's AI. So there, or excuse me, there's social media. So it looks at social media, looking at Reddit and others. There's one called writing. What it's doing is it's kind of putting on blinders and it says, okay, I'm not going to pay any attention on the net to what's the temperature here, or what's the current news story, or what happened as a historical fact here. I'm focusing on how do you improve your writing? How do
Yeah.
you make sure that it's smooth, that it's using a certain style that you want? You want the style of this author or that author. And grammar, it's checking for that, it's checking for spelling, checking all those little nuances that go into making a really good piece of writing. Whatever it is you're doing for a blog post or maybe a newspaper article, et cetera. And so I like using Perplexity for that. For me also, in journalism, they told us what you want to do is you want to get 3 non-corroborating sources. You go out to one person, you hear them, and they say, this is what's happening. This is good. Okay, if I went back and wrote that and said, hey, here it is, it's going to be true because this person said it, sometimes that'd be okay, but not always. But you want to get another person, non-corroborating, they don't know each other, this person saying that, and then a third one. I want to get that. And I get 3 non-corroborating sources. Doesn't mean they're all perfect. All 3 of them could be bad, could be wrong on that. But I've got a little bit more to base on. So I like using ChatGPT and Perplexity. And then with Perplexity, I can shift between Claude and I can use Grok. I've been really enjoying Grok lately, getting into that because not everybody's using it. That gives us an extra advantage in those areas that it sparkles with. Like, for instance, find out what people are saying on X, formerly Twitter. You want to find that out? Grok's got it right up there. That way I can here's a controversial topic. There's people on this side, there's people on this side. I want to hear both. I want to make sure I'm listening to all of the arguments, all the points, and to see the stuff that I go, all they're doing is ranting about this. They're not really giving me any evidence. This one over here got a little bit of evidence, but also there's a little too much rant there. I'm going to use my own judgment and make up my own mind based on the evidence that I see from several different sources.
That's awesome. Our friend Mike Russell, who was on the show a couple months ago, really was the same way about Grok. He really liked it for doing exactly what you're doing. His YouTube channel is all about AI, the new AI tools that are coming out, and so he uses it as a research tool because everybody's cutting edge. You know, it's like the news on X, and so he uses that to find new stuff. So I think it's a unsung, kind of like what Connor was saying about Perplexity. A lot of people don't use it when they could. This last section, before we get to the last section, I do want to make sure I do a shout out again to our amazing sponsors, Ecamm. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com/Jeff. They are amazing. The stuff that they do in their community is awesome. That's what we're using to produce this show.
Absolutely.
So, and Terry mentioned to use it. Connor uses it. We all use it and we all love it. So Jeff, ecamm.com/Jeff. But I want to talk about in this last section, it's the best title of a group ever. Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, Terry. I love that title. It's amazing. So talk about what inspired you and Gina to establish Stark Raving Entrepreneurs and what needs does it address for creators and entrepreneurs?
Well, thank you for that. I have to thank Gina for really preserving and coming up with it. The name itself came up when she and I, several years ago, we were up in Philadelphia attending a conference, and it was an afternoon break, and there was going to be a session that evening. We went back to our room, and we were talking, doing different things. I was on the phone with someone, and I was talking to this person. I don't even remember who it was. And I said, well, for me, I'm just a stark raving entrepreneur. Just kind of made it up.
Right.
And I thought, it sounds kind of interesting. Gina heard it on the other side of the room. She said, oh, that sounds good. And she very wisely went over and reserved the domain right then and got it and was working. We didn't do anything with it for a long time. During the pandemic, just before the pandemic, we started a group called Video Rockstars, showing people how to use video. We were just getting into using that more. Then the pandemic hit, people needed to know, how do we use video like Zoom? How do we use Skype? How do we use cameras, et cetera, all of that. But after we did that for a little while, we found people needed a little bit more and they wanted to know about their business as entrepreneurs. And so we said, wait a minute, we still have that name, Stark Raving Entrepreneurs. So we just pulled it out, started with that, and building on the idea of how you can use this to build your business, how you can do it. And we underpin it strongly. Our belief is live and let live. Do whatever you want to do in life. And I mean, whatever, use your imagination, as long as you take responsibility, You do not harm others. You're not hitting someone. Don't harm anyone. Don't initiate force. And you don't take their stuff. You do that, I think our world would be a lot better. So we just stress strongly, stark raving entrepreneurs, you're building business, serving others, live and let live. I've got that as a filter. When I look at issues that I'm constantly confronted with, okay, is this action going to harm someone? If it is, I don't want it. Is it peaceful? If it's peaceful, I'm for it. If it's not peaceful, sorry, I'm not going to get behind that one. Mm-hmm. I want to see what we can do to live and let live. And within our community, we show people specifically how to do that. And it's kind of fun because we find we're all learning. One of the things we like to say in our group is the Japanese saying, it's been used a lot in Silicon Valley, none of us is as smart as all of us. And so we're learning from the community. We're hearing from them. And just yesterday, we had a session where we were talking about things that we're doing, new tools, and people say, oh, yeah, here's an AI tool that I found really good. Oh, here's another one. And we've got some people that are really, really smart and are able to show us what to do. Then we show them certain tools that they can use, and we're all doing better as a result of that.
Very cool.
Yeah, Terry, you talk about, why content creators fail. And I think we go into the creator space because we have knowledge on a topic and we want to help people, right? And we like creating. Jeff, I love that quote that Jeff always says, which is, we were created by the creator to create. And it's easy in theory, right? But it's a lot of work, and failure happens a lot. We get burned out or whatever it is. But how does your program, and your trainings and all these things help creators just avoid the pitfalls, and why do content creators fail when it happens?
I think the content creators will fail because, yes, they're getting discouraged because when you have content you put out there and it's not reaching the right people, not just a large number, but the right people, then you're not going to do as well. And you kind of think, why should I do this? And also, sometimes they don't know how to do it. And so what we like to stress is, here's the tools, here's how you can use that, and here's a new AI tool that's out there. We want to make sure we don't give too much that it's overwhelmed, but we can say, hey, did you see that new feature that's available here? Just the other day, I was talking, this week, I have a Talking Tech Tips with Terry and a Tantalizing Tech Tip from Terry. And I was showing some of the things you can do within ChatGPT now with the Canvas, and how Canvas is there. Matter of fact, that's a video we put out just today on YouTube. So we've got how to use that specifically to build your business and how to get new ideas, how to grow it with those kind of tools. That's the way that we find we like that community. And I think everyone needs to be involved in some community like that, or communities. Again, my buddy Harvey McKay talks about being in several different tribes that he would be in. He'd have one place where he goes for soccer that's for his grandkids, and he'd have another place here for the community. He might have another one where he goes to for his synagogue, and he has other places to go here and there. And so we all need to identify those key areas that are important to us and find the groups that we can work with, groups that we can be around, that we can associate with for different needs. No one group is going to take care of everything, but you find you can get certain needs met in certain groups. Like, for instance, one, Jeff, you and I saw each other there at PodFest. And PodFest, which is meeting over at that hotel over there. I can see it from right here. It's a great little place to get together and meet some people who not only understand podcasting, understand technology, but also I found a real sense of giving and contributing on behalf of so many people there. So that's a good community to be in. And I would encourage each of you that are watching or listening to this, find those communities that are important for you, that nurture your soul, that nurture your mind, that help you in your business, if that's a factor for you, helps you in your areas that are key. But be careful, you can't get into too many.
Right.
I found that for me, usually about 2 or 3 is right. Now, you might have some others that you do once a year. Okay, that's kind of a group, but you find out what kind of level you'll need and determine what to do that. And I would say, check with ChatGPT on some of the groups that are out there in those areas that you like, and Perplexity too.
Yeah. So, Terry, this has been fabulous. We can't wait as long as we did to have you back on, because you were a fount of information. I knew you were going to be.
Thank you.
This is awesome. But I want to give you the last couple of minutes to tell people about where to find you, where the best place to connect with you is, the Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, all that stuff. So the floor is now yours.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate, first of all, what you guys are doing, because you're giving some dynamite information that we really need. And I love the way you make it crystal clear on what to do with the various guests you bring in. I've been watching some of the videos there, and I enjoy that. And so we're trying to do that with our stark raving entrepreneurs, and people are telling us they love it. So many people said they see Wednesdays, that's the day that we often meet for our group. We get together, then they find that as something that really nurtures their soul, gives them the ideas they need. And the community that's there is really something. People, we like to say, people came for the content, but they stay for the community. Because the community is there to help them, to help each other. And we know sometimes there's areas where it's a little bit prickly, it's a little bit personal. People get to know each other and can say, hey, I went through a similar thing. Let's have a private conversation one-on-one. We'll do a Zoom call later and work with that. So I think you want to find those kind of groups that'll help you. Ours, Stark Raving Entrepreneurs at starkravingentrepreneurs.com or over on YouTube, has that kind of approach. And you'll see what we talk about, how we do it, all underpinned with the idea of live and let live. Peaceful living. That's what it is. I like the way Leonard Reed said it long ago. He said 3 words to live your life. Anything that's peaceful. If it's peaceful, yeah. If it gets out of being peaceful, I'm a little bit concerned about that. And so we want to make sure that we can do it. And if there's a way we can help you, let us know. If you got a quick question. Matter of fact, if you're watching this or you catch it sometime later, and you got a question, just want to, no charge, just give me a holler over at terrybrock.com. You can drop me a note there, or it's terry@terrybrock.com. There's my personal email that I use. And just send me a note if you say, hey, I saw you on the podcast, and what about this and that? I'd be delighted to talk with you and help you out. Thank you for being with us today here.
Yeah, Terry, it's amazing. Thank you so much for all the stuff, all the information you share. Your YouTube channel, I did go check that out at your Stark Raving Entrepreneurs YouTube channel. Great stuff. Talks. There's quite a few that talk about AI specifically. So if you're interested in what we talked about today, make sure you head over to that channel. You can find all that at terrybrock.com, and that's BROCK. That you can go find him over there. Connor Brown, the unsinkable Connor Brown. Where can people find out more about you and all that you have going on?
vacationkingdoms.com. You can email me, Connor, CONOR, at vacationkingdoms.com, and at Vacation Kingdoms across the social medias. This has been great. This has been awesome. I've learned so much. Terry, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad to do it.
And thank you to, once again, our amazing sponsors, eCam. You can find out more about them at ecam.com/Jeff. Thank you.
Yes.
Images by Gretchen, Jim Fuse, Ask Ralph, everybody who showed up today and watched the live show. We appreciate you. We'd be able to do this show.
Hey, Jim Fuse. Love you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for all of you guys who listen to the podcast as well. So we will see you guys next week. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.